Come on in, everybody. As you get yourselves logged in, I'm gonna welcome you here. You are in the right place at the right time, and we've got a great conversation ahead. We're here to explore video coaching best practices. So come on in. As people are logging in, I will go ahead and take care of a little bit of housekeeping, and will keep us moving forward so we can get to the good stuff. But you're right on time, so come on in. People are saying hello in the chat. And that is actually part of my housekeeping. Come on in, use the chat. Do make sure that you send your messages to everyone so that the entire education community can benefit from the conversation that we get to have together. If you leave your chat to the default, sometimes it just comes to us and the whole group doesn't get to enjoy your contributions or see your questions. So we'll look for those in the chat. Number one question in any webinar I've ever had the pleasure of offering, the number one question is always, will a recording be available? And I'm happy to look you in the eye and say, yes, a recording will be available. We'll share everything we've got, the slides, resources that we may mention, links. We'll send a follow-up email and you can look for that tomorrow. So rest assured that this is a conversation arranged by educators for educators, and we have heard the ask. Please send us what we need afterwards. I believe firmly that you're going to hear some things in today's conversation that you're going to want to share with colleagues and continue to explore for your entire program. So I'm especially appreciative that we will have an on-demand recording available to you. As you can see on the slide, I've got a chat question for us as we get ourselves logged in and settled down and ready for a discussion. I want to warm us up with the question, in what ways might video coaching support your program? We come to conversations like this one from so many contexts and so many different kinds of experience and content areas and scope of responsibility. I think this question is especially relevant as we open the discussion. So if you would type into the chat, please, everybody, join me in this conversation and answer the question, in what ways might video coaching support your program? If you want to tell a little bit about your program to set up the context, that would be fine, but help us to frame our minds as we think about video coaching and supporting our programmatic goals. How do we reach our objectives more effectively and maybe more significantly through the use of video coaching? So as you all are typing in answers to that warm-up chat, I will offer an official welcome to the webinar. So welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. You're in the right place at the right time for a good conversation about video coaching best practices. My name is Wendy Amato. I'm the Chief Academic Officer for Teaching Channel. This webinar is a joint collaboration between Teaching Channel and Insight Advance. And so I want to thank both of those organizations for bringing this important topic to us. It's my pleasure to welcome my guest today. I'm with Dr. Stephanie Hofer. She is the Assistant Superintendent, Decatur Township. Stephanie, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Wendy, thank you.
I know that the topic we were just saying, video coaching, is a big one and one that is gaining interest. There's growing use of video coaching and we're refining and improving best practices. We've got a lot to talk about today. And Stephanie, I want us to actually open up sharing a little bit about what we're talking about. We want to figure out what video feedback is. So first, can you tell us a little bit about your role and why we want to share this conversation with you in particular?
Perfect. So again, thank you to everyone for tuning in today. Thank you for having me. I am passionate about the work we're doing as an assistant superintendent of an urban school district with roughly 6,500 students, roughly 900 employees. We are always trying to be innovative, creative, but we want to make sure that we increase student outcomes. And I'm passionate about the topic of video feedback. So that's first and foremost why I'm here. I'm excited about discussing our journey, if you will, here in Decatur Township in Indianapolis, Indiana. In terms of a little bit about myself, I'm in my 21st year of teaching as an educator. I was a special education teacher, an elementary education teacher, and then became an instructional coach myself. From there, I became an elementary school principal for 6 years, and then I've been in central office for 5 years as director of elementary education, director of secondary education, and most recently, assistant superintendent. So my role as assistant superintendent is to oversee all of the teaching and learning that happens here in MSD of Decatur Township. And with that, we're excited. We want to help our teachers master their craft. We want to make sure we increase student outcomes, and I'm just excited to be here.
This is why I wanted to have the conversation with you, Stephanie. Exactly that. Your range of experience means that you understand the great potential of using tools well in different contexts. And so your introduction helps everyone to understand why we want to pay close attention to the experience and guidance that you offer. Let's talk about what video feedback is, and provide some reassurance around it. This is a tool and a strategy. How would you frame up video feedback?
For me personally, as assistant superintendent, I would say that as teachers, you can truly log on, record yourself, whether it's a snippet, whether it's a whole lesson, and upload it for either self-reflection or for peer review or for truly a submission of any kind. So, we discuss instructional coaching, we discuss that face-to-face, one-to-one, but video feedback is that. It's instructional coaching, but it's at its finest, because the video feedback allows you to record yourself, and it allows you to timestamp your own self-reflection notes. And then someone else can go in and also read your reflection that you give yourself, as well as also give you, updates or any sort of feedback that you're requesting. So you can ask questions, you can make comments, and then whoever you share it with can do the same.
When we use the word feedback in education, sometimes people feel like there's an end to it. But I think one of the important considerations is that when we use video feedback well, it becomes an evolving process. And so we can work on an area, watch for it again. We can update our recording and just make it a continuous improvement experience. It's not it's not a final assessment. It's not a place where we have to be concerned. It's a place where we get to be enriched and strengthened for our practice.
I would agree. And, when we talk about feedback specifically, it could be personal feedback. It could be specific academic feedback. It can be, I'm seeing that students are doing this. I'm seeing that the teacher is doing, this. It could be something that you're reviewing in the video. I like the anchor charts that are posted. I've had teachers ask me personal questions on their timestamp, so, it truly becomes this very personal dialogue between the observer and the person that's posting. And it makes it it's just even that much richer and deeper than even that face-to-face.
Can you talk a little bit about the MSD Decatur Township specific benefits that you all have begun to explore?
Sure. So we have seen more professional learning and teacher growth happening using video feedback than any other strategy that we've had. Truly, for us, it's helped us in a multitude of ways. It's helped us go deeper in our coaching conversations. It's helped us be more specific in our feedback, because people are always saying, well, what kind of feedback do I give? What do I do? When the teacher posts a video and self-reflects, then the observer gets a glimpse into that teacher's mind and what they were thinking or what their thoughts were as they were teaching. And we get a glimpse into that step-by-step practice of what's happening in the classroom. So for us, truly, it's helped us with recruitment. It's helped us with our retention. It's helped us just help teachers master their craft in a way that we have not been able to do before now. And I'm not saying that things are perfect. As educators, we're right in the middle of a pandemic. And so we've all gone from no school to hybrid to remote to full in person and masks and no masks. So I'll be very honest and transparent with our journey, but it has truly been something that we were catapulted in that I would never look back.
I wanted to pause the screen sharing for just a moment, Stephanie, and ask you to help us frame up a little bit about where you were at the beginning of the process, because a lot of the people who have come to this conversation today, they've heard some things about using video coaching, and they may be asking questions. And I suspect that these are the same kinds of things that you had heard and the same kinds of questions that you were asking yourself. What can you share to a group who's really exploring introducing the idea?
Sure. So for us, 5 years ago, MSD of Decatur, we secured a teacher and school leader grant. It's a TESOL grant through the federal government with Insight Education Group. So for us, it was this opportunity to work on PLCs, to work on instructional leadership teams, to work on instructional coaching, but we didn't know exactly how that would look. So ADVANCEfeedback was part of the platforms that we had access to with the grant. So we were hesitant, we were experimenting. We thought, okay, we don't know what this is. We're used to going in classrooms. We're used to doing our classroom walkthroughs. We have a form that we fill out. We give someone a grow and a glow, and we go on about our way, and we try to collect as much data as we can, which I'm sure many can relate to that. So video feedback for us was something that we started experimenting with, and we thought, we'll create a schedule for our teachers. We'll start off small. We'll have our principals record an instructional leadership team meeting, or we will have our lead teachers submit part of a PLC, and then we set up every teacher with an account and thought, just give us a clip. Give us 5 to 10 minutes of a clip. You choose, you decide what it is that you want to submit on video, and then you decide even who you share it with. Maybe you share it with just your team. Maybe you share it with your principal, but we wanted there to be absolutely no pressure whatsoever. So we knew that everyone would be nervous and hesitant. The last thing anybody wants is to be on camera, because we're all more critical of ourselves than anyone can be of us.
Can you share a little bit more about the kinds of retention efforts that you all got into? I think that video coaching may have led to increased satisfaction, maybe improved morale, and I'd love to have people hear from you about that.
Sure. So in terms of, the recordings, people started trusting us, they started trusting the process. There's always a little bit, like that video hesitancy, like we say, and you start to upload a video clip, but then you're like, what? I really liked self-reflecting on that. And I really liked when my 5th grade team and I were able to view each other's teaching, because we all plan together and we all teach the same thing, but maybe my results of my assessment was different, or maybe, I struggled a little. So it's nice to see what my partner was doing. So it really started to increase the trust. And we started to, when you talk about morale, Wendy, it's true, because people started thinking, what, this is okay. This isn't so bad. I can do a clip. I'm going to do something small. They still weren't completely bought into the system yet of truly buying into video feedback, which is okay. But we started teachers saying, what, I'm getting a lot of support here in Decatur Township. I don't think I got as much support in my last district that I worked at, or, I can't believe that I can upload this video to the assistant superintendent and she'll watch it and, look at all of my feedback and comment on it. So it started to bridge the divide of, buildings with central office and thinking that you only see the central office, people come through your buildings every now and then. So it started to take some of that pressure off when you're choosing what you're uploading.
I love that. We have some really incredible educators across the country delivering phenomenal instruction. And I think offering this tool to teachers like that is a way of saying, I know you're doing good things out there. Help me celebrate you. And finally, there's a shift now where video is not about something negative or feeling like there's a big brother over your shoulder. It's saying, I'm doing amazing things, and I want to help other people to do amazing things. Maybe if I capture this lesson, a colleague will feel inspired to share some of the tools or resources or strategies, or maybe the district will have a better understanding of why certain topics come up at meetings, or why there's a push for different kinds of resources. It really is a gift to the team.
I would absolutely agree. And for myself, I can say that I have been in every classroom in this district, but I can't get into every classroom all the time. So I get excited that I can log on and watch a PLC, a professional learning community. I get excited that I can have a glimpse into someone's classroom. We have STEAM teachers now at our elementary schools, and they're doing incredible, amazing things. And I have done lots of observations face to face, which is always wonderful. But now I can log on, I can leave feedback, and it can be very specific, thoughtful feedback that I would never be able to give just from walking in that short few minutes of time.
That's powerful. The comments that are coming through the chat are reinforcing and echoing this positive message that we're delivering about the use of video coaching. Marty, for example, been using video coaching since 2011 for professional development and then for teacher preparation. I'm so happy to see this getting the traction it deserves. So tides have turned, and this is definitely a resource that makes a positive impact in our programs. I'm strongly encouraging it. Let's see, other feedback. At the beginning chat, I was asking about in what ways video coaching may support a program, and I can hear some of the responses that came early in our conversation being echoed by our conversation, that this is helping us to see in more than one classroom at the same time, because we can watch the recordings in an asynchronous way and be in all classrooms at once. And that has never been possible before. So
and I would say for the people that have been since 2011, I mean, that's amazing for us. It was just in 2017 that we started this journey, and I'm grateful to the pandemic for catapulting us into a completely virtual world, because we, as districts, were scrambling, trying to figure out how they would, connect with teachers and connect. For us, it was easy. We thought, we have this right here. And then everybody started using it, and it just has taken off.
When we shift to thinking about how things are taking off and how everybody uses the tool, it means that there's some shared language that we start to have and can start to bring to one another. I'd love to talk about unifying language and how we create resources that sort of become the norm for our team. So let's see if we can talk about that. You shared that the initial introduction of using video feedback, video coaching was asking people just to share short snippets, and then the program has grown. Can we talk about those things?
Absolutely. And I will say this, what better way to, if you're not going to model something yourself, how can you ask teachers to do it, right? So we were all uncomfortable, all of us, from the superintendent, everyone in our cabinet, to all of our building administrators. But we thought, you know what, we have to rip the Band-Aid off. And if we're asking teachers to do this, we should do it ourselves. And that would include us being more highly involved with just the buildings in general. So, we asked teachers to submit those 10-minute clips. Teachers started, planning together and posting, uploading for each other. But then for myself, I can tell you that I started attending, whether we're in person or virtual, I started attending all of the schools. We have 9 schools in the district, and I was able to attend everyone's PLCs. I'm never able to attend everyone's PLCs. I usually have to pick and choose what I'm doing. And then someone says, oh, Dr. Hofer came to yours today. She didn't come to mine. So for me, it was, you know what, I'm going to use this myself because I believe in it. I want teachers to know that it's okay. I mean, it's okay what we're posting on there. I mean, I had a teacher upload a video clip and say, Dr. Hofer, I don't like the way I look in this maxi dress. I'm never wearing this dress again. Just note to self. And I thought that was hysterical. So then when I saw her, we had a conversation to talk about, but we started with that peer feedback. We started with the self-reflection, but then we dove into PLCs, to recording our instructional leadership team meetings. And then we can share those PLCs with other buildings. So when we look at, let's say 6th grade across the district, we can look to see our PLCs are pretty uniform across the district. We have district goals, they're aligned, but we were able to determine why different buildings are seeing different results. And we all have that concern sometimes that we're not seeing everything that we want at the exact same rate that we would in one specific building. So recording our PLCs, recording our ILTs, self-reflecting and watching others has been huge. In addition to that, we were able to start having teachers say, you know what, I'm really good at this. I'm happy to create this video and upload it for my peers across the district to see. So we are working on a video library of exemplars of just different strategies, whether it's the gradual release model, the, I do, we do, you do, whether it's academic feedback, whether it's working on lesson structure and pacing, standards and objectives. We're just able to use video feedback for all of it. Our classroom walkthroughs, I truly am able to log on and see our teachers who are teaching synchronously. I'm able to log in as a student with them. They've been recording through and I can see anything.
Love it. I know maybe I can ask for you to share a little bit of your personal professional world. This topic matters to you and eventually became your research interest for your dissertation. And why?
I'll be honest, Wendy, I wanted to know if it was legit. I can't think of a better word. Did it actually work? Was it legit? Is it something that we say is going to help, but really doesn't? So you are definitely correct. I wrapped up my doctorate in 2021 towards the end of the year, but my dissertation was on instructional coaching specifically and teachers' self-efficacy. So I looked at, did teachers feel better when their feedback was face-to-face? Did they seem to have a higher self-efficacy when it was through video? And then how did it look dependent upon who was the one that was actually coaching them, whether it was an evaluator or a peer? So for me, I specifically wanted to look inside our district because I thought we're 4 years into our grant, and is this what we say it is? Is it working? Do we have the street cred? Because if we don't have the street cred, if it's not actually working for us, how can I go out and share it, and try to tell others that it's a good thing? And what I found was just amazing. I personally didn't think that it would matter whether it was face-to-face or through video feedback. And that was where I was wrong, because a lot of what I found was that teachers were wanting that. They liked that specific feedback. They liked that it wasn't in the moment, very quick, very short. They liked that they said it was more authentic. The feedback was more thoughtful. It was more reflective, that they received more specific feedback. And truly, I thought, you know what, this is cool. Instructional coaching does work for us. Through all of the research that I did, that was certain, and face-to-face is always good, but that video feedback was also very good for us. And our teachers are seeing value in everything that we were doing that was related to the grant. So that was something that we were like, okay, we actually are doing a good thing. We're seeing results. Let's keep going.
I love that you chose to research this, because there is no educator out there who wants to ask other educators to try something new if they're not sure that it's worth their while. And so you followed up, you followed through and carried out the research. And Stephanie, I'm looking at the chat in a couple of places here, and I just want to give you a heads up. You may have a lot of people reaching out to ask you to serve on their dissertation committee.
Oh my goodness. Well, here's the thing, as educators, what are we good at, right? We're skeptical. We're like, look, don't try to sell me this if this isn't working. I am the first one that will say, look, guys, I'm not sure. I don't know if this is going to work, and I'm not going to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So those things alone, I'm like, if teachers don't feel supported, if it's not actually proven, then we don't have any need for it. And I felt like it was a good thing to even prove myself wrong with it.
Great. Jennifer said the same thing. Ty is going to read your dissertation.
Yeah, I don't know if you should read it.
Charles is out there. So you just stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of dissertation committee work for you. I'd like to play a video in a moment here, Stephanie. Let me get it queued up. Tell me a little bit about what we're about to see, and we'll get ourselves ready here. Let's see. Here we go. I want to show a quick video clip, and let me just press pause. Is there any context that we want to offer for the clip?
You know, I just feel like it's just a personal, honest, transparent testimony, if you will. I'm not sure about the actual context.
Perfect. Yeah, we always want to make sure that we offer as many voices in the conversation as possible. And so here's a quick clip for everyone to enjoy. And while you're watching, I would invite you to type into the chat and share what you notice. Share whether you feel a connection to what you're hearing. This is Jennifer Pearson, a principal from Stephen Decatur Elementary. And let's offer ourselves an additional conversation in the chat about what we hear from Jennifer. Pardon me. We'll bring her right up so we can enjoy her words.
The biggest benefit for advanced feedback, the platform for us here at Stephen front, we use similar language, and we're seeing similar things in our classrooms. We also use the videos to collect evidence on what it is our school needs to work on. So if someone threw out, maybe we need to really tighten in on our objectives, we can go back through the videos and look, are teachers writing objectives? Do they mention it? Can kids articulate those objectives? And if they can, then why would we focus on that? So we actually have the evidence without having to go back out and collect that and make it one more thing for teachers to do. We also are able to grow as individuals. For instance, my lead teacher and I, she will record coaching sessions, and then she and I sit through and watch them together to really look at, did she hit the mark? Was the teacher comfortable? How was her body language? How was the lead teacher's body language? What feedback was given? And then what are the next steps? And so she's able to grow because I become a thought partner to her because I can see the actual conversation. We do that as administrators as well. I have had host conferences for evaluations recorded with teacher permission, and then I will share them with my supervisor and other principals and look at, would you have done the same things I did? How was my questioning? Give me some feedback to help me grow for the next time. We've also recorded and shared ILT meetings with the same thing, having someone from the outside really look in and make sure that we're doing the work we think we're doing, because sometimes in the middle of it, you get a little sidetracked. So being able to share those things without people having to leave their job, leave their school, or leave their office has been a wonderful benefit for all of us here.
I love this. I'm grateful to be able to hear the specific benefits. Let's talk about those for a minute. We've got some people adding what they noticed into the chat, and we can pay attention to some of the words that Jennifer offered. I heard her acknowledging that opportunity to collect specific evidence, and I'm seeing that key word of evidence in the chat comments coming through. What kind of evidence, Stephanie? Have you asked coaches, peers, administrators to provide for one another? Are you looking for specific things all the time?
No, and you asking that question, and I saw on our chat, someone asked, are you just saying it's for growth, but is it truly for evaluation? And that's a good question, because again, we're always skeptical, right? And what exactly are we looking for? I can tell you one of the things that I made a note to say watching Jennifer's clip was how we're getting better. I mean, I'm better. I'm growing as a coach, as someone that's giving feedback. So when we're watching those videos, of course, we're always going to help people master their craft. We always want to help build capacity in others. We want to encourage risk taking. But at the same time, I've watched myself on video and reflected and thought, you know what, I could have coached more effectively. And here's how I could have coached more effectively. Or our lead teachers, when they upload a video of a coaching session that they have with a teacher, the teacher, of course, is the first and top priority, but our lead teachers also need to get better at what evidence they are looking for. So our video feedback has truly helped us all grow. We're all getting better together. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. When we are stronger together, if I'm a stronger coach and a stronger advocate, then I'm going to be able to help maybe give better strategies to someone that I'm observing. When we're just looking for evidence, from the self-reflection point, you want to see evidence of self-reflection of, here's where I feel like my kids did really well, or here's where I think they went wrong. Maybe I should have grouped them differently. And sometimes you can't see how you should have grouped them differently until after you're watching it for yourself on that video. When we go in to do walkthroughs, and these, if we're evaluating, again, to go back to that chat, then we truly are very transparent and saying we're going to evaluate, and are you open to evaluation? But otherwise, it really is for growth. And we're looking for what's in the classroom. Do you see the standards and objectives? Is the agenda clear? Is that why there? And then do we have all of the components of a strong lesson? And do we self-reflect on those components of a lesson to not just have compliance, but to have engagement? At the end of the day, the video platform is the tool. Best practice and teaching still needs to happen. It's just the video helps us do it more effectively, which is effortless, truly.
Hearing that. That question, that difference between the intent and the purpose of the use of the tool is important. And what I hear you saying, Stephanie, is that that's communicated with precision to people using the tool. This is what we're using it for here. And if there are other circumstances or other uses, that's part of the preface for a different time and a different way of using it. So we need to be clear, and we need to keep our word about the way we use the tool, and certainly knowing that in education and with educators, you've got to follow through and deliver that way. Some of the other feedback that came in the chat related to that video is offering some thoughts about, let's see. Well, the chats are coming in so fast, I lost my. Karen offered a comment appreciating that the process is used across verticals and horizontals. And I think that as we think about the scope and potential impact and the reach of good video tool use, then we've got to think about the verticals and the horizontals. That was a comment that I appreciated there. And then Kristen had a question for us asking how teachers are provided time to view peer videos or to view their own videos. And I like that Kristen asked this question because my immediate answer was like, wait a minute, it was harder before when we had to be somewhere when the bell rang to see something. I think maybe it would be just a little bit of how do you use this at an elevated level in order to ensure that people are viewing what gets uploaded.
Okay, so, and just to piggyback off of what you said, Wendy, when we talk about that horizontal and vertical, view and that alignment, it has truly given us district-wide alignment. So we are always striving, whether it's vertically or horizontally, to get some alignment K-12. And for us, it's given us an opportunity to have common vocabulary. So when we're able to observe all the PLCs across the district, when we're able to see an English language arts classroom in all of the schools, it helps us work on that district-wide alignment. So I will say that, just to reiterate what you were saying, that's been huge for us here in Decatur Township, very instrumental to just increasing student outcomes. If you're not increasing student outcomes, if your teachers aren't feeling it's useful, then there would be no use. But we are truly seeing gains, and that's been in the past 4 years. When we look at time, I would have to say I am from the district level all over the district. So from the district perspective, I feel like it's helped bridge that gap from central office, who people would say, oh, I just never see my central office staff. Well, now when you're getting thoughtful feedback from the superintendent, from the assistant superintendent, from the director of elementary education, that's important to teachers. They want to know that what they're doing is not going unnoticed by the folks at the district level. And that's really helped us be more connected to our people in the building. In the building, we have weekly professional development and we have weekly PLCs. So we build time in to view, to self-reflect, to give teachers that time. We also just have our lead teachers, or if you have instructional coaches, they can record a PLC, and then we have them take on some of that role and responsibility of uploading and helping secure who gets to see it. As far as the teaching library, when we see just exemplar things happening across the district, I will say it's given teachers a sense of pride, like, oh, I was tapped on the shoulder because my STEAM, what I'm doing in STEAM is amazing. And, everyone wants to see it recorded. So, and then it's talked about in other people's PLCs across the district. So it's just helping create those teacher leaders and that sense of pride that we're looking for in what we're doing.
What you're describing tells me that there was a lot of positive momentum that secured teacher buy-in to the whole process. I wonder if there were additional specific strategies that you can offer about getting teacher buy-in for the use of video coaching or watching coaching sessions.
I think some of that buy-in is that credibility piece. Saying what we're going to do and doing what we actually said we were going to do. If we were to say we're going to come in and do video feedback and do all of this for growth, but we're actually evaluating, we would be lost. It would go south real fast. So for us, when we're saying, you know what, we're going to let you choose. We're going to let you determine what you're comfortable with. We're going to let you pick the part that you upload. We're going to let you decide if it's 5 minutes or 50 minutes. You start to have some autonomy and you're part of the decision making. And then we did a check-in. We'd like to see that every month is what from the district. I said, you know what, as a goal of assistant superintendent, I'd like to see a clip every month. That's how we had started. But then teachers started to think, okay, I can do more. I want to have more feedback. I want to get some more peer feedback. And so then they just started doing longer clips or a whole lesson for people. But truly, there is going to be hesitancy. It is going to take a lot of conversation, a lot of open communication. There has to be time built in. No one needs one more thing on their plate that they have to do late at night. However, I do like watching PLCs on the weekend. I will just openly admit to that. Makes my life easier than driving all over the district and being late to meetings or, or feeling like I'm not there from start to finish. But we've given teachers that personal decision of, do you want to be evaluated using, video feedback? Would you rather have face-to-face? So we've made them part of the decision.
Okay. While we're talking about buy-in, we know there are different groups involved in our schools and programs. We were talking just now about how to increase teacher buy-in in the use of videos or watching coaching for feedback. Let's talk a little bit about getting buy-in from our teachers union and maybe how we pivoted from in-person to virtual teaching evaluations during the pandemic. Let's get to a specific conversation topic here that people may be particularly interested in.
Perfect. So for us, we have a very close relationship with our teachers union, and we truly meet. We have co-presidents that we meet with often to discuss things, and they're really honest. They'll say, no, I think that's a terrible idea. I think that's a good idea. And we really have a good open dialogue with each other. I wish I could take credit and say that, we just know exactly what we're doing perfectly here in Indianapolis, Indiana. But the pandemic truly forced us. We thought, what are we going to do? We have to have, when we were all gone from school, we thought we have to be able to evaluate teachers still so that we can give them their incentives and raises and things like that. So there has to be some sort of evaluative piece. So we truly evaluated everyone using advanced feedback. So that was we're going to make the best of this. If you didn't get your evaluation done before we went on complete lockdown, if you will, we were going to use video feedback. That helped everybody stay connected when the world was feeling disconnected. So that really helped us. That was instrumental in we had no choice. We had to, if we were going to keep learning professionally with each other, if we were going to keep doing evaluations, if we were going to keep trying to do anything that was normal, that video feedback was instrumental for us, in addition to, of course, just, people being able to teach with their students live. So as we did that, teachers were they were getting used to it. Really, some of it is just I'm more scared of what I don't know. And once I do it, it's not so bad. So as teachers were evaluated using the advanced feedback platform, then it became, okay, now we're back to school, but on a hybrid. So, kids were here just a couple of days a week, and we had teachers, mic'd up and had their swivels, and they had kids in front of them and kids at home. And so then we started asking teachers, would you like to have your evaluation through video feedback, or would you like for us to come in and schedule it and have it face-to-face? So we started making it a personal choice for teachers. And our union, if the teachers are okay and they're not upset and they're not asking questions, then the union was all in favor of it. They were like, what, if you're not going to force teachers to go one way or another, if you're going to allow them that decision to be part of that decision, then they were all for it. And they were truly supportive. And I would recommend, if that's a route you're going to go, I would definitely recommend that you do sit down and talk to all the right people. Because if you skip any of those steps, if you don't communicate well, people think you're not being transparent. They think you're trying to do something that's more of a gotcha. And we didn't want it to be that way. It really had to be, we talk about gradual release model. It really truly was gradual release model. And now, fast forward, we're all in school and our teachers are here full-time, our students are here full-time, but we still allow teachers to decide. And we have quite a few teachers that still elect to do the video feedback. So you can have someone come in or do video. We have not forced it one way or the other, but teachers are deciding for themselves, and that percentage has grown larger and larger for teachers that want to do the video feedback. And to us, that shows that they really love that self-reflection piece in addition to us being able to, observe them.
I love the video piece because you can go back and hear the feedback from that observation while watching what's being talked about. And so you can watch the video for your self-reflection, you can submit it for feedback, but as you're getting the feedback, you watch again and can see through someone else's eyes. That's hard to do when you're actually in the middle of a lesson and then trying to read someone else's notes. It just doesn't give you that opportunity to see the same way. And it becomes more and more valuable. I suspect that the teachers who have gone back and forth between live observation and video observation, those may be the ones that are actually most committed to using video, because if you disagree, or if you were like, really, did that happen? I missed that. Now you've got an opportunity to go back and look again, and that's just something that slips through your fingers with a live observation. It's incredible, incredible. I love watching videos the first time to observe the instructor. And then I like to watch it separately and not think about the instructor at all, but focus on what the students are doing and how engaged they are, how able they are to move themselves forward through a lesson. So we can watch the same video with so many different intentions and purposes.
I absolutely agree. And, I saw some questions in the chat about the technology piece. And it's definitely an investment, but I feel like we're a one-to-one district. We're an Apple district. So every student has an iPad, every teacher has an iPad and a MacBook, but I know, advanced feedback can be used on, through multiple technology sources. But for us, again, we were one-to-one before the pandemic. That was something that we had a jump start on in terms of the other, some of the other districts having to get devices and be one-on-one. But for us, we were one-on-one already. And then we purchased swivels and did some other things through some of our funds, but we've been okay. The technology piece has not been a concern for us.
How nice to have the equipment in place, how nice to have the familiarity already there while teachers are navigating other things that are less familiar.
And again, I will be the first to say that it was uncomfortable. I mean, it's productive discomfort. I mean, lots of us, I was like, oh, I don't know how to log in. I don't know how to do this. How do I give feedback? I mean, it's daunting and it's intimidating. So if I'm nervous, I have to try to take baby steps. I can't force others to move faster than they're ready, but we did truly, that technology piece is huge. So some people are more comfortable with others. So that's something you have to take into consideration as well. And we had a lot of support we have a technology department that was in every building supporting, making sure that they knew how to do things, how to upload. So, I mean, those logistics take time, but if you take the time on the front end, it will pay dividends on the back end.
We are starting to hear from districts and education leaders, reading notes here, that they see power in combining video coaching from advanced feedback with the library of videos on Teaching Channel. And so if that's a question that is coming up in your area, please know that we are excited to bring you the best support for teachers and instructional coaches, and you can schedule demos with us to learn more about that. So some good collaboration happening, like the collaboration that brought us to this conversation with you, Stephanie. I'm going to click to one more slide and ask a colleague to please put a link in the chat for me. I'd like for you all to have a link in the chat so that you can go to a demo page and see some of the things that Stephanie's been talking about, and consider it from the perspective of your program and the learning objectives that you have, the coaching goals that you have, the instructional feedback expectations that your staff have. So click the link there and bookmark that to take a look at later, or continue now. This is an important tool that makes a difference in education. There are ESSER funds available for professional development. And so I would encourage everyone to explore how to use those funds available and take that obstacle out of the way and provide a way for your teachers to celebrate the kinds of things that Stephanie and I have been celebrating today. Feedback that's meaningful, an opportunity for educators to improve their practice, to support student learning outcomes, and drive our programs towards the excellence that we know they're capable of. Stephanie, I'm grateful to have had time with you today and want to invite you to think of any final comments that you'd like to offer to people who have come to learn from you and hear about video coaching best practices. What shall we leave them with?
I would just say, number one, I was just for everyone, I was nervous to do this webinar, but I have found that while I'm talking, it's so easy to talk about something that I truly believe in, and that's made a huge difference. You know, the last things we're working on, we're really trying to work on that video library. We want, you know, to have a library for teachers, exemplars in the district for teachers within the district and or with outside of the district to use. And then we've started tapping into the student piece. You know, how can students use Advance? You know, how can we do some uploading of videos and give some feedback with our students? Those are probably the next avenues that we're going to explore. But what I would leave you with is the sky is the limit. You know, I'm excited. We all learn from each other as educators, and there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. If someone's doing something, I'm all about hearing about it. And I love to share what we're doing because we are really stronger together. I mean, and we have to make sure that our kids get the very best in front of them and they get the very best of us every day.
Stephanie, thank you for sharing. Thanks for inspiring and encouraging people. There are partners out there to help us do this. Inside Advance, of course, is my favorite. I love the collaboration between Inside Advance and Decatur, and I'm grateful that you were able to offer specific examples for all of us. And you really have reminded us, you started out with the same kinds of questions that we're all asking ourselves right now, and you're already showing us that you're ready to explore how to use the process in some really advanced ways. So there's a wide range, but the important thing is to get started. So if you're feeling what I think everyone's feeling in this conversation, then let us help you introduce video coaching into your program, and then follow Stephanie's footprints, follow her research, and understand that the benefits are real, the evidence is there, the impact is significant. So please join us.
Thank you.
Stephanie, thanks again to educators who joined us in this conversation. So appreciative of having time with you. We appreciate following up with you tomorrow with all of the promises that were made, on-demand recording of the webinar, related resources, and opportunities to connect further. Please join us for our next collaboration teaching channel, Inside Advance. We'll look forward to helping you, support your programs, support your teachers. Thank you all so much.